Hello everyone, I'm Jack Fisher and welcome to my world. And within that world, I consider myself very lucky because I was born and raised by two awesomely wonderful parents. And every time I hear horror stories about kids being raised by parents who are negligent, ignorant, abusive, or selfish, I'm just that much more thankful for my family. I know not everyone is as lucky as I am in that regard, and it really is remarkable just how many have to overcome a difficult family life. Now, those difficulties may vary, and the stories of how kids navigate bad parents and toxic homes can vary just as much. Some of those stories can be quite disturbing, and we as a society should support kids and adults alike in dealing with these struggles. But as challenging as this effort might be, these harrowing stories can also inspire unique ideas. Ideas that require us to reassess how we raise, nurture, and protect children. There's certainly plenty we can do from a logistical and legislative standpoint. Societies at every point in history have had mechanisms for helping children from abusive or unfit homes. That also extends to children who might have been abandoned by their parents, or children whose parents have died. Reasonable people can certainly debate on how best to address such an issue, and those debates have been going on for the entire history of human civilization. But certain emerging technology might add a significant wrinkle to this issue, one that I believe warrants a larger thought experiment. And once again, it involves artificial intelligence and its many implications for people, society, and everything in between. And thanks to the rise of AI chatbots and neural networks, we're already interacting with AI in profound ways, and those ways will continue to evolve as the technology is refined. But with respect to children and parenting, more advanced AI presents a whole host of other opportunities as well as risks. And for this particular thought experiment, I'd like to focus on one particular opportunity as well as its many implications. And it boils down to this. Should we ever trust AI to raise children? Now, this is an idea I believe is more relevant than most care to admit. And I think the rise of chatbots like ChatGPT helped make it even more relevant. Because even if these chatbots are a long way from human-level artificial intelligence, they still act as a prelude of what might come. This technology in and of itself has broad implications, but with respect to raising children, that's an application that blurs lines we're not used to seeing blurred. Just ignore for a moment the major limitations of current AI technology. Instead, just imagine all the traits, practices, dedication, and energy that goes into being a great parent. And also imagine all the effort, guidance, and know-how that goes into raising capable, well-adjusted children. It may seem unthinkable that this could ever be distilled into an artificial intelligence, but practically speaking, there's no immutable barrier that prevents AI from having these capabilities. So, let's say for the sake of this thought experiment, we suddenly have an advanced AI with human-level intelligence, and it's programmed with every proven parenting technique. It may have even been programmed to develop techniques that no human has ever even contemplated. But at its core, its primary goal is to raise, care for, and protect a child from the moment it's born until it becomes an adult. The AI itself may take many forms. Maybe it's placed in an android made to look completely human, like the replicants we see in movies like Blade Runner. Maybe it can also inhabit other computer systems, like a smart device or even some sort of neural implant. Maybe it can even take on multiple forms, becoming whatever it needs for the sake of the child. But whatever this form might be, the most important element is that it has advanced understandings of nurturing, raising, caring for, and even loving children. And even if you don't think a machine can ever feel love, that doesn't mean that it can't make a child feel loved. And take it from someone whose parents always made him feel loved. That sentiment goes a long way. Now, put this AI and a child within a home. Make it so that the AI is capable of providing for the material and nutritional well-being of that child, just like any human parent. Make sure there's food, shelter, clothing, education, and even entertainment. In essence, the AI would have access to everything a normal parent would. You can even set it up so that when the child gets to a certain age, the AI would pull back. It wouldn't be some never-ending presence in a child's life, trying to micromanage them from cradle to grave as some parents in the real world attempt to do. Eventually, the AI would let the child become an adult, eventually trusting them to navigate society on their own without a parent's guiding hand. Now, this may seem like an overly idealistic scenario. It may even assume that there aren't unforeseen complications, both with respect to creating such an AI and with how a human would respond to it. But I present it because it's necessary for the substance of the thought experiment. Now take this parenting AI and add it as an option for children in need. Consider as well that our current method for raising children in a civilized society definitely has some room for improvement. And no, I'm not just talking about parents who do a terrible job of preparing their children for the adult world. At this very moment, all over the world, there are children whose parents have died, been sent to prison, or in some way just aren't in the picture. Many countries do have some level of foster or state care, but you don't have to look far to see the deficiencies in those systems. Even in areas where the people are sincere and dedicated, there just aren't enough resources, human or otherwise, to care for these children. On top of that, there are way too many tragic cases of children being trapped in abusive environments with abusive parents. Beyond the social cost, it's damaging and traumatizing to both the child and everyone around them. Some never do fully recover from it, and others have had to struggle that much harder just to achieve some semblance of a functional life. With that in mind, would you deny these children something like an AI parent? If there really are no good alternatives, then should we at least give such an AI a chance? But that leads directly into another part of the thought experiment, and it has to do with trust. Because even the most optimistic techno-utopian advocate today probably wouldn't trust AI to raise a child. Even if AI improves by leaps and bounds in the next 20 years, I don't see that changing considerably. However, this could also be one of those issues that becomes a generational divide. Kids today are much more intimately connected with technology than ever before. It's not uncommon to see young children and toddlers interacting with smartphones and tablets. I myself have nieces and nephews that are remarkably capable when it comes to utilizing a smartphone. Now that's a hell of a shift from when I was a kid. I saw my first computer when I was 3 years old. It was bulky, loud, and could only display black and white. And in my own lifetime, we've gone from that to what are effectively supercomputers in our pockets. As a result, kids' relationship with technology today is very different compared to those of their parents. And when those kids get around to having kids of their own, that future generation could have an even deeper relationship. That might mean they're much more inclined to trust their technology more than we do now. Who's to say that trust won't extend to raising children? But even if the technology is there, even if the trust is there, there's still the matter of whether or not we should. I know that aspect of this thought experiment is emotionally loaded and highly subjective. Because there are those who don't care how capable an AI is. Even if it has superhuman levels of parenting skills, even if it's more capable of raising children than any human being has ever been or ever will be, they still don't think we should allow this. I've even pitched this concept to a few friends and relatives, and a majority say outright that this isn't something we should do. But they often boil down to this idea that a child raised by AI will lack some core aspect of what it means to be human. They aren't able to quantify what that means or entails, but a part of me does get that to some extent. Other people might just find it too disturbing, the idea of a machine raising a child. It distresses them in a way that has little to do with logic or reason. Maybe that just reflects the current social attitudes. And those attitudes could evolve over time. Remember, there have been people in the past who refused to embrace technology beyond a certain point. I personally know people who refused to get a smartphone. And many years before that, there were probably people who refused to ever buy a car. Could our relationships with AI be similar in that regard? I certainly don't claim to know the answer. I'm also not smart enough to make truly educated guesses. I can only confidently say that technology like AI will continue to evolve, improve, and expand. And our relationship with technology, especially AI, that will continue to change with it. Whether or not an AI capable of raising children happens within our lifetime, we still live in a world where countless children suffer due to having abusive parents or no parents at all. It is in our interest and theirs to use every tool we can to help them feel loved. And if the day comes when AI is an option, what will we do? How will we go about it? And what are the costs, both human and monetary? These are all questions that we don't have answers to at the moment, but we may have to figure them out at some point. Hopefully, this little thought experiment offers some useful insights, as well as critical perspectives we'll need for our generation and those to come. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for joining me in my world. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more engaging thought experiments. Until next time, take care and stay safe.